I'm the only person who's ever moved to Germany
Right.
of my own free will who does not like chocolate.
Whoa. You didn't. This is your first time saying this, right? I mean, do you want me to keep this on the podcast? That you don't
You
like
can keep
chocolate?
this. I mean, it's a known thing. We had an intern who baked me a cake for my birthday. This was, I think, our second year in operation,
Right.
and it was a chocolate cake because I never told her.
Yeah.
And she just gave. She's like, "Oh my god, surprise, happy birthday!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, thank you." And I had to. I tried. I ate a little bit of the cake just to try to be polite.
You don't like chocolate?
No,
Why
I know.
not? What happened? What? Tell me about your childhood. What happened?
Childhood, I tried it. I didn't like it, and I said, "I don't know why I don't like it, but I didn't like it."
Damn.
And then they're like, "Well, it has a lot of sugar that's bad for you, so it's probably not a terrible thing that you don't like it." And I said,
True.
"Okay," and that was that.
Damn. Not even Oreos.
I've eaten Oreos. I not really. It's just I no.
Damn. Oh man, sorry to hear that, man. I mean, there's a lot of light. There's a lot in life that you're missing if you don't eat chocolate.
What a way to start, though.
Yeah, but hey, man, how you been? How's everything going?
I woke up a couple hours ago. I'm
Uh-huh.
drinking my caffeine just to try to make it through the early afternoon, which I consider morning.
Right.
And yeah, looking forward to doing this. I haven't done this podcast yet. It's about different cultures and things like that, is what
Yes.
you told me about. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. How are you doing?
Doing good, trying to survive this, I guess, winter, as you would call it here in Berlin. Sadness, as other people would say it if they spoke from the heart. But yeah, doing okay, so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have very similar jackets.
Yes, we do. Yes, but you have a lighter version, which is very troubling. It's thinner for anyone who doesn't know. It's thinner, and you walk into negative 3-4 Celsius weather with that jacket, and
We're in Celsius now. How long have you been in Germany?
I'm learning German a
Okay.
little bit, so I gotta. I can still reference temperature in Fahrenheit if I'm trying to learn German. So I had to bite the bullet and start referencing things in Celsius.
Oh, that's always the most fun talking with my family, because they're always asking about the weather over here, because we have so much to talk about that we talk about the weather. That every single time I have to like translate Celsius to Fahrenheit, and I
Yeah.
can't do the translation. Like, I know what 20 degrees Celsius feels like.
Right.
I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit.
Ah.
And so like zero's easy because I can just say freezing and I don't
Right.
have to say a number.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's freezing. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, that man.
This is one of those things I've learned from being here for 7-8 years. It's just, well, it's freezing. It's going to snow today. I mean, just, that's how it is.
Right. Forgot it in science class. You're like, oh yeah, I had to come to Germany, live here for 7-8 years for me to remember that 0 degrees Celsius is freezing.
Yeah.
But so for anyone who doesn't know, yes, you're the owner here at the Wall Comedy Club.
Oh yes, I should introduce myself, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
No one knows who I am. Hi, I'm going to look at the camera now. I'm Foster. My name is Foster Yow. My last name's Yow, Y-O-W. I don't know why I mentioned that. I just think most people, when I say my last name, they don't believe me.
Because if you say Yao, I'm thinking Y-A-O.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got, all right, diverse.
I was told it's either has German or Dutch origins. And then I came to Germany and I visited the Netherlands, and everyone said that was wrong. So I have no clue.
Ooh, hopefully you didn't tell this to your family. They're like, wow, her whole entire lineage has been a lie.
I've mentioned this a few times.
Oh yeah. Oh gee. So oh wow, life of the party at Thanksgiving, huh?
Yes. And then we're at the Wall Comedy Club. It's a comedy club I started a little over 5 years. No, about 5 years ago. 5 years ago from next month. So if you're doing the math, that was January 2020. So about a month before something called COVID hit. So that was fun.
Yeah, bro.
And we're still here.
Yeah, he's still here, still alive and kicking.
We've got a green room. We've got a couch that someone gifted us, which was lovely.
Nice. Oh, it's gifted. All right. Has anything happened since you had this couch?
I have no idea where you're going.
Sorry, when I hear gifted, I'm thinking about like, did they need a couch anymore? And I'm now trying to think about who was the people that gifted to you.
It was someone who moved to a new place that had a better couch.
Okay, and their place it was a nice place they were like moving from?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just want to make
It
sure.
was moving, I believe, from a shared apartment to a solo apartment. And they just didn't need the couch anymore. And it was like, oh, okay. Well,
Wow.
And then I just got the van, and then that was it.
Oh, okay. All right. Because just in case, because I was getting a little itchy, so I want to make sure that
Oh yeah,
it's
no,
more
you should
on me and not the couch.
You should go to a doctor for that.
I should, yeah. Good thing I just got into the KSK, so I got healthcare right on time.
Right on time. Oh my God. With the news, especially in the US with the healthcare. The CEO. Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's
That is crazy.
it's so fascinating, like morbidly. And it's just like just seeing the reactions of everyone. Like
Right.
over here now, I'm just so used to just having, if I need to go to a doctor, I just go to a doctor and I don't have to get into debt.
Yeah.
Like that's just a thing that just doesn't exist here.
Right.
And just everyone like because someone was murdered, which is very illegal and
Very
very
illegal.
immoral as well. But the person who was murdered was in charge of basically increasing the denial of claims so that
Mm,
people whose lives were needing to like be saved were now in debt for the rest of their lives that they had very little chance of paying off.
right.
And so just seeing the reaction of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy when you think about it. And then also, what's really crazy is that as soon as it happened, there was no rest in. I don't think I even seen a rest in peace post on social media. Everyone's been like, "Ah, well, you didn't get coverage for that one, huh?" And it's like, "Oh, damn, the jokes are coming
Yeah,
quick."
everyone's making jokes. Literally, there was people here in the green room last night at the end of the show trying to come up with jokes for what to say that other people haven't thought of.
That is, I mean, look, that I was thinking about that whole CEO stuff and that, yeah, when it comes to like, people getting shot or whatever I guess not in America, maybe all over, it's like we pick and choose.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, like yet again, a school shooting. It's like okay, that's awful, terrible, and
Right.
now it doesn't even make the news. It just happens so much.
Yeah.
And but a CEO of, but again, it's a CEO of like the worst part of America, which is healthcare.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing where everyone just, it's like everyone knows it's broken. No one is trying to fix it. I don't know why,
Hmm. Well, I
but that's
mean,
just how it is. I mean, I
yeah.
assume money is one of the
Oh
reasons,
yeah.
but
Money and yeah, I was listening to a podcast about it. About I mean, this is not a healthcare podcast, for anyone who's
what can
listening.
you talk about other podcasts on a podcast?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
As long you ain't starting beef. I don't want to start no podcast beef. I am one out of few English speaking podcasts in Germany, so I don't want to start no beef. I'm new here. Just like my visa, it is still new here. I do not want to get it revoked. Do not want to get my podcast deported. But yeah, wow. So okay, so to go back into here, the Wall Comedy Club. For anyone who doesn't know, we're in the green room now, the infamous green room with a lot of names, people signing their stuff. And what made you want to open a comedy club way here in Berlin, Germany?
Okay. So I didn't start doing comedy until I moved to Germany.
Wow.
So I did it. Basically, I studied in Leipzig. I had an internship in Berlin, which is when
Hmm.
I fell in love with Berlin. That internship, I was not allowed to speak English at, so that was a good way to learn German. So
Whoa.
if you ever need to learn German, just get a job where they don't allow you to speak English.
Wow. Okay.
Um, my German's okay now. I can do comedy in German. I did a comedy in German maybe 2 3 weeks ago. I think that was the last show I
Nice.
did was in German.
Congrats, bro. That is a big deal.
So, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to do improv. I've done improv once in German. I'm trying to do that again, although that's a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Improv is challenging in general.
Right. Trying to break the rules in German in Germany. That is a difficult
Yes,
feat.
but uh, yeah. So I did comedy. Cosmic Comedy was the first show I ever did. So with Dar, I'm assuming you've done
Of
that show a
course.
few times.
Yeah.
Um, and I had a job here that I didn't like after the internship. And after about a year, they promised me a position, which they then said, no, we're not doing that position anymore. So you can't have it.
Wow.
And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to stay with you. And they
Hmm.
said, they said some very not kind things, like I would never get another job in Germany, things like that. And previously, I was in West Texas. I was in the energy business in West Texas,
Hmm.
where I'd saved a lot of money.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just start my own business.
Yeah.
And I came up with a few different ideas. Some were more realistic than others. And I literally went to a comedy show, a roast battle on a Saturday night,
Mm.
and it was just completely full at a place I'd never heard of, very little advertising. I was like, you know what? I think this can work. And so that was like the business side of it.
Yeah.
The more fun side of it was once I decided to do it, I was like, how can I make every single thing about starting this comedy club funny? To me at least. Like
Okay.
every single step of the way.
It's that's so
Because I wanted to have like a cool story behind the comedy club, right? Like I didn't
right.
want to have Foster's Wild West Comedy Club.
Yeah, that was. Well, good thing you did not do that. Wow, that would have.
So like getting it like the name is a perfect example. So I
Yeah.
didn't know any famous people at the time.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, let's just put a really cool backdrop. Let's call it the wall.
Mhm.
People will come to see just a cool wall. And if they see comedy outside of that, whatever. Then I was like, okay, this was right before Trump was hopefully only going to be like a flash in the pan and
Yeah.
just never show up again. And he was talking about building a wall and having Mexico pay for it. And I was like, well, I'm an American with orange hair. I should just build a wall.
Okay, putting two and two together. Okay.
And then
Indefined.
we're in Berlin,
Yeah.
which is famous for the Berlin Wall.
Right.
And my hope was that after Trump was just gone and we would never talk about him again, I would just be like, "Oh, oops, I'm sorry, I accidentally built a new Berlin Wall."
Oh, wow. So many cultural differences just in that one little story right there. I mean, okay, so you wanted to start this comedy club, very funny, which by the way, on brand, right? Comedy club, funny, right?
You were laughing the entire time at the
I was laughing.
ridiculousness of the situation, which is the point. What other comedy club does this though?
Yeah, not many, if any. I don't know any. Yeah, most people come in to make a profit, but use like funny.
Well, I mean, I thought that yet again, if you make it funny, if you make it intriguing, and if you make like the whole foundation of it,
Hmm.
just from the beginning to the end, just every single step of the way, there's a joke behind it.
Right.
Like I had to get a visa to do this, right?
Right.
Because this was you're dealing with visa stuff. You have the artist visa, right?
Yeah, yeah. What kind of visa you had to get? Like the business, like a business
I have a
owner
business
visa.
owner's visa. The first one they gave me that said I was only allowed to be in Berlin if I've built a new Berlin Wall.
Oh,
Yes,
I
because
wonder how.
I had to do a financing plan. I had to do a business plan.
Oh, wow. Did you make the
There's
business plan
more.
funny?
There's so much more to this than you can imagine.
Oh my god! Wow, this is so. I'm wow. Look, that's actually very impressive. They approved it, saying like the wall comedy. What?
No, see that's the thing is they asked how I was going to pay for it, and I did everything they said, and then I put a last page on the I did a PowerPoint. I gave him a PowerPoint with like all the stuff because
Oh shit.
I studied business, which means I know how to PowerPoint, and that's about it.
Oh, I mean that's clearly a good skill because you own a building here.
Well, then I put because I was trying to make fun of Donald Trump again, and so I said, "Here's the financing plan, but if that doesn't work, Mexico will pay for it."
You said that in the
Yeah.
and what did they say?
Well, see, they just looked at the financing plan, whatever. But I wanted to make that true.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, well, let's turn every negative thing that's happening right now in America into a positive thing.
Hmm.
This is not a place for bad things to happen. This is a place for good things to happen. This place
Right.
for everyone is welcome throughout the whole world. We've shows run by people in different countries, different nationality, different backgrounds,
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
You can come here and just laugh. That's it. So I was like, okay, well, if there's two walls, let's have one of them that was actually built by Mexico, like stand for good.
Okay.
But the most embarrassing. So I was going to go to the Mexican embassy because there's a Mexican embassy in Berlin and ask them, and I was so embarrassed that I sent them an email with all of that, with like, hey, this I want to like this is a joke. Just like I think it'd be fun if we did like a thing together, and they didn't respond.
Wow. You are a bold businessman.
We're not done yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. There's more.
Because I believe you've invoiced me and I've paid you.
Yes.
And it wasn't from the Wall like
No.
GmbH. It wasn't from like the Wall LLC or Incorporated. It was from a company called My Extremely Intelligent Company, GmbH.
Yeah.
GmbH, for those of you who don't know, it's like LLC or incorporated in Germany.
Mhm.
Um, and so I had to come up with a name for the company.
Okay.
And when I was doing that, I had to explain all of this in German to a court of law in Charlottenburg.
A court of law. You was in
Yeah.
a courtroom?
No, it was on the phone. It was just
Oh,
with like
okay.
the justices people to get the name approved.
Wow.
And I was like, I need to have the initials where they spell out the word Mexico.
Oh. Oh, wow.
And explaining to someone in German who's like life is approving and disapproving names for companies, how this is comedy and this is a joke. And like, but like from like a place of good, like, please don't judge me too hard. Like I'm trying to make this funny and like, like a thing. And just having them be like, well, like, because they said no to my original title, which was Most Extreme Intelligence Company. Because I thought that would be like a kind of a funny play on like the startup culture here.
Yeah, most extreme.
And they're
Okay.
like, that's no, we can't do that one. But they approved my extremely intelligent.
Which if you look at it, it has the acronym put all together Mexico.
My extremely EX intelligent I company CO.
You know what's funny? You know what made me mad is that I actually sat as you're talking and really thought about it. And I was like, huh, wow, it really does. I was like, huh, wow, that's actually pretty funny.
Every single thing about this was trying to be a joke in some way.
Okay. Wow.
But like
Berlin.
I could have picked any name
I mean,
and
of
then no
course.
one would know. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't make any more money or less money regardless.
I mean, but the wall is a good like title though, in terms of like, I mean, obviously the name of the actual LLC or GmbH is my extremely
Yeah.
intelligent company, but the having the wall that's like such a,
Yeah,
you
well, it
know,
makes sense in Berlin as well.
oh
And it's
yeah.
simple. It's just one of those things. It'll never, it's not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something universal. It's got a really like backdrop, like whatever. It's just there.
Right.
So it's a real easy kind of thing, and that's what I wanted as well. Something simple. I didn't want like I didn't want something because I mean you see a lot of old comedy clubs, especially the names.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much of the time.
Right.
It's like
Right.
in the '70s, you can kind of. I was like, okay, that was clearly named in the '70s because that's like the style. But the
Yeah.
wall has. I mean, there's been a Berlin Wall for when it was like in the '50s, '60s, '40s. I forget when it was built. I know when
Ah.
it came down in '89. I know that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's I forget when it was built, but I think it was in the '60s.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. Cold War. I know around that time.
Like
But
'61. I could be wrong. Correct me if there's comments. Are there comments on these?
it could be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make sure to clip this and be like, hey, let us know. Just this part.
This is one
Not-
part.
yeah. When was the wall built? Yeah, comment here and let us know. Just a 2-second video goes viral. Everyone's like, how do you not know?
Yes. But so that was fun explaining to government agents like visa people and like court people just explaining like comedy
That is wow.
in German in Germany.
So your German is good. Your German is good to have that much of confidence to make that type of joke to a court of law. That's actually impressive. Yeah, so your German is actually very good. Sehr gut, I would say.
I mean, I worked in Germany in German for months. I've got the C1 class.
Oh wow.
I don't have the certificate, but I don't really care to get a certificate.
Yeah.
It's just day to day stuff. I mean, when we have German shows, I do my best not to speak English,
Wow.
but a
That
lot of
is
people want to practice their English as well. So it's kind of like the mix.
yeah. And you see okay, that's interesting. So before we get more into this, I think it's important for people to know where you came from. Maybe just get some light on the things you're doing now, which you're from originally Texas.
Yep, I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas,
Fort Worth, Texas.
so
Okay.
near Dallas.
Mm.
I was I went to school at near University of Georgia, and then wait, did you spend time in Atlanta or no?
A little bit. I mean, I have family living there now, so
Okay,
I lived there for like not live, but visit.
okay, and yeah, so near Atlanta, and then I was working in West Texas, in Midland, Texas.
Oh, nice.
But I've been kind of everywhere in the small towns. I was my job was called a landman.
A landman. What the hell is that?
Basically, it was discovering who owned and then buying oil and mineral and gas rights
Mm.
from people who owned it.
Oh, so you're using that? That's is that sales kind of or?
Kind of, it's mainly research and then just, I mean, it's a bit negotiating,
Yeah.
but it takes way longer to find who owns what because the
Mhm.
records are so, it's not really tracked. Because the
Mm.
idea is that you pay taxes on like surface,
Mhm.
but you don't pay taxes on minerals until minerals are extracted.
So
So
you.
there's no reason for like anyone to know. There's no records for who knows who owns the minerals until like they find oil or gas or something like that.
Wow, that is okay. So that's some real, but probably a lot of money to be made too. So that's
I
dope.
mean, it's one of those things where I'm not. I don't love that I did it just because
Obviously, environment.
the environment. Basically, when I started doing that, that was before I moved to Germany. It was before I like traveled at all. And I
Mm,
was very much in that Texas mindset, very much conservative mindset, always vote Republican regardless of what happens. Everyone else is evil. Like, that's just how I was brought up to believe. And then when I visited Europe for the first time, I was like, wait, none of that's true. And that kind of shifted everything.
mm,
So that's how I can still talk to people from there because I'm like, no, I get the bubbles that you're in.
mhm.
But like when you visit people and like see, hey, like there's a whole world out there and you don't have to follow the rules that you've been taught. Like, working 24/7, nothing else in your life but work. That's what I was taught, like from like a very young age. And just coming to a place where like, oh no, we only work so that we can live. And I was like, wait, Germany's saying that?
That is so true,
The
man.
efficient country that I've been told like works harder than us? Like they're like, no, we go on vacation, take time off. Like
Right. And it's like a lot of it
at
too.
5 o'clock, do not answer, like you're done for the day. Like work is over that day.
Wow. That's still mind blowing. I mean, that type of work life balance, and how people really adhere to it here in Germany. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm glad you talked a little bit about Texas because I think like Texas is really, especially when it comes to like oil and gas, like that is a people, man, people get offended when you start talking against like, any environmental something. People are like, well, yeah, 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 this gas, this oil and gas has fed our generation, fed us for generations.
Yeah, no, it was weird too because I was in Leipzig and I was giving a presentation about kind of what I was doing for work.
Hmm.
And we were talking about oil and gas, and a German woman asked me a question. She was like, "What about fracking? Fracking is illegal, though, right?" And I was like, "No."
Nah, it's legal as hell.
But it's just so weird having that. Just there's one mentality of anything we can do to make more money, regardless of the impact of everything else.
Hmm.
And then coming to a place where here it's like, oh no, that's bad for the world. That's bad for the environment. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't make money off that because it causes earthquakes. We don't know what other impacts it's going to have.
Hmm.
But like spending all like so many years in a place where it's like, oh, whatever we do, we will make money on it, and we don't care about any of the other consequences because I want my bank account to get bigger.
Yeah.
It's such a different change. It's
Man,
so much. That's one of the reasons I like it so much more here.
right. I mean, how was it? So to kind of skip a little bit forward, how was it when you first like left Texas? You not say left Texas, but you left that bubble and you went into maybe a bubble here in Europe. Like how was that first time? What were the moments where you're like, oh, it's different than where I was coming from?
I think the biggest difference for me was so I did a study abroad. This is a really so I started studying in Georgia. I left for a bit, and that was when I first started working in West Texas. And then 2009 happened, financial crisis happened,
Hmm.
went back to school. Uh, and before doing that, I did a quick trip to London and Dublin on very short notice. And I loved the idea of it, and I wanted to do it later in a language where I didn't speak, in a country where I didn't speak, in a language where I didn't speak.
Hmm.
I picked Germany because my dad likes German food.
Okay.
He likes the potatoes and like the schnitzel and things like that. Even though some of that's Austrian, but like I don't. We're not here to
Yeah.
critique my
Yeah.
dad's idea of German food.
Right. We're in Germany, so let's go with German.
I also didn't know at the time either because I'd never been, to continental Europe at that time.
Yeah.
Um, when I went there, I did a study abroad that was kind of everywhere in Germany, but it was 6 weeks in a place called Weimar.
Weimar. Okay.
You might know of Weimar from the Weimar Republic,
Yeah.
where which is the government that Hitler eventually took before World War II.
Ah, right.
So he got elected, and then the Nazis came, and then the Nazis all died, and now they have a new government.
Right.
And so but the cool thing about Weimar, from my standpoint, was that even though the Allies, the U.S., not Russia, the U.S., France, and the U.K.
Hmm.
went to Berlin through that part of Germany, it when they separated it, they gave it back so that the U.S. could have part of like the U.S. the Western Allies could have parts of Berlin.
Hmm.
So it was, even though it was liberated by like the US and stuff, it became East Germany.
Interesting. East Germany. Okay.
And so the GDR, DDR, however you want to call it.
Hmm.
But the really cool thing about that was I met a lot of people who lived through those times. And the
Wow.
thing was, because yet again, I talk about how I was in that right wing bubble of Texas, of just conservative bubble,
Mhm.
where anything and every government spending healthcare, for crying out loud, is communist. And then I met people who lived in socialism. They won't even call it communism, even though that's like further, like socialist, further government run than anything that the US ever had. And they would talk about it logically. Here's the good things. Here's the bad things. Here's just what it was. And you're like, wait, that's it. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things that were worse behind it. But there's things they miss. There's things like healthcare. There's things like women having the ability to become scientists, things like that.
Mm.
That at the time in the US wasn't a thing. But there it was, because it was a different mentality. But it just, looking at the difference of like their day-to-day lives and just how like the government did impact that, I was like, wait a second, all this stuff that I was being told my whole life is not right. And I know that because here's the people who lived through it are telling me, no, you know, that's propaganda basically.
Mm.
And so that's what kind of got me to start thinking about that.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, even just you being in the place, talking with the people, and the people that experienced something that was very traumatic, multiple in multiple different levels, right? Um,
Well, I wouldn't say most of it wasn't traumatic. Most of it, because yet again, there's this thing called nostalgie.
what's that?
It's nostalgia for life in East Germany. So
Mm.
Ost is German for East.
Yeah.
Nostalgia, Ostalgie,
Yeah.
basically the same word.
Nostalgia. Okay.
And it one thing I've looked back, especially now with the recent election in the US, is because I met a couple people who wouldn't outright say it, but they seemed like they were either going to vote for Trump, or they remembered what it was the first year that he was in office.
Mm.
And they thought, okay, all the good that happened, which was just what happened. It's just America. It's just, yeah, there's jobs there. There's companies that's it.
Mhm.
It seems like the further away you are from something, the more you remember the good and forget the bad. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seemed true because there's
Yeah.
yet again, when I mean, we've all seen the pictures of families being reunited on when the Berlin Wall fell,
Right. Yeah.
and clearly people wanted opportunities that they couldn't have. I mean, you don't build a wall to keep people trapped.
Yeah.
You just don't do that.
Right.
So, like, clearly there were things that weren't good about East Germany and that
Mhm.
people were fleeing from it. But then hear people talk in more realistic terms about what it meant for their day-to-day lives and just how different it is from, you know, single payer healthcare,
Mm.
things like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Right.
That I've been told, like, if we do that, then we're a communist nation and we'll fail. And it's like, that's not,
Yeah. Wow.
that's a big jump.
Big jump, and I mean, all it's so easy too, because when you're in America, like, you have so many different, like, outlets too that are perpetuating these type of, not stereotypes, but these thoughts, right? Like, you got Fox News, you got, like, all these other news companies, MSNBC. I mean, like, all there's all companies that are pushing something to some degree, right?
Yeah.
And not really talking about it in a pros and cons sort of way, which I think that's kind of missing in, like, say, media in America. There's no media in America. You do pros and cons is when your ratings start going down.
Yeah.
The minute you start focusing on one or the other, mostly probably cons, is when your ratings go up.
Yeah.
That's when business is booming. Focus on negative. Here it seems like balance, like, oh, this is good and this is bad. And that's when it becomes boring. You're like, oh, all right, well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Just, this and this. And you're like, oh, all right. Well, hey, I'm about to go back to America and and be paranoid.
Yeah. I think Jon Stewart, he did one way back in the day. I think it was like 20 years ago or something. Like it was well, actually, I don't he's done a few where he says this is what the media does, and this is when it works and this is when it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the rise of cable news.
Mm.
And mainly Fox, but also MSNBC, CNN, things like that.
Yeah, right, right.
It's like it makes sense during 9/11. Like something so just earth-shattering, we have no clue what's going on. We wanna know what's gonna happen. We
Mm-hmm.
will watch the news every single second until we know what's going on.
Right.
Any other time, they have to manufacture that drama.
Huh. Right.
Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
not gonna get the ratings.
Do you think they manufacture drama here, since your time here in Germany? Like, are there any type of manufacturing of drama you have noticed or seen?
I haven't noticed it. I mean, so I don't watch. I generally still watch U.S. media. I would say just because it's easier for me to just not have to worry about the translation stuff.
Mhm.
That being said, when something big does happen in the US, I will try to look at German sources, and it's more unbalanced from what I've seen.
Balance.
It's more like, here's just the facts.
Interesting.
But I also noticed that a bit with the BBC as well.
Mm.
And I think the biggest thing is, I mean, there's a different mentality. They're not trying to get Americans to watch 24/7. They know that Americans aren't going to watch.
Right.
So there's no like stake. It's not
Mm.
like, "Oh, we want you're a part of our team and the other team is bad. You're Republican and Democrats are bad, or you're Democrats, Republicans are bad."
Mhm.
It's just, "Okay. Well, here's what tariffs mean." And like yet again, I watched the BBC thing right after Trump got elected about what do tariffs mean? Because from my standpoint, it looks like America just voted for Brexit for the US.
Yeah.
Because okay, blame everything on immigrants, whether it's true or not,
Mhm.
and then restrict trade,
Yeah, which is
which is bad for just it's bad for everything. It's
right.
making up a problem that doesn't exist,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna voluntarily lose money.
Right.
That's what it is. Uh, and then yeah, and then it was just the BBC was like, okay, well, here's what this means. This is he's saying he's going to do this. Now, last time, right now the markets aren't acting like that at all. The markets are acting like he's just going to do what he did last time, which
Yeah.
was tons of government spending, tons of debt, lower taxes for people making a lot of money.
Right. And a Bitcoin is up.
Everything's up.
Yeah. Which I hate when people people like, oh man, he won. Damn. But Bitcoin is up. Cardano is. I'm like, it's like cycle continues.
Well, it's weird because yet again, like everything's up, like way more than it's been. Like okay, so after the election, it went up a little bit. Something, well, the day after it went up a huge amount, but it always does because
Mhm.
once we know who's going to be elected, we understand what the policies are going to be like. So
Mm.
we understand a little bit more stability wise.
Mhm.
Right now, it's up a lot, and I all yet again, it's betting that he's going to do what he did the last term, which will be good for short term profits, but it will create a lot of debt that they're not good long term.
Right.
This is my business.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So,
Talk about the business. Yeah.
sorry.
This is the business aspect, No.
Uh,
Is business
well,
is a
no,
culture.
I'll bring this one thing up and then I'll stop talking about it. Basically, Warren Buffett always says, when people are being greedy, be fearful. When people are being fearful, be greedy. This is the
I
best
heard this.
investor in the history of investing.
Yeah, very good.
And so that's all I keep thinking of is right now. I don't. I see a lot of people who are investing and they're like, "Oh, taxes are lower. It's good for people investing, making a lot of money. It's good for corporate profits."
Mhm.
But at some time, yet again, if people who are not making much get annoyed enough, I mean, look what happened. What, yesterday or the day before?
What happened?
The CEO.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that shit is crazy.
If people aren't making enough money to buy your products, like you can't sell anything.
Nah.
It makes okay.
Are
Sorry.
you highly marginalized people to the point where, shit like that happens.
Well, people can't pay rent, people can't pay debt, things like that.
Yeah.
And that's just the financial side of it. That's not the emotional side of it. This got depressing.
Yeah. Nah, 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 nah. I think though talking about business and politics and stuff is just part of American culture, right? Because like the one thing, I visited New York City a couple months back. This is back in September, and it's been a year since I went back. And I went there, and I remember when I got there, it was like everything was all about, it's before the election. So
Yeah.
everything was about politics. Then the mayor, the NYC mayor, then like all this us. It was like all political, and it was I won't say jarring, but it's just like, oh shit, because you're in Germany. I mean, well, there's a lot of political stuff's happening here in Germany, but it's just I don't speak the language, so it's not hitting me as. So I'm kind of like just hearing words. I'm kind of like, okay, this party, I'm like, okay, I just hear acronyms,
Yeah.
but not really like things behind it, unless somebody really break it down for me. Whereas America is just like, room, and everything's heightened, and it just ended.
Well, see, America, there's also only two sides. There's the Democrats and the Republicans, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
And here there's like five. There's the SPD, there's the CDU, there's the AFD, which is the right wing party.
Right.
There's the Die Linke. I mean, it's and depending on who you talk to, it's just like these are the good guys. Everything else is bad.
Yeah.
It's because I remember speaking to someone who, and it looked like it was like the center left one, but I don't really
Mhm.
follow it enough to know.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, that's probably like the comedians are probably happy about that. Like it's slightly to the left. That's not bad.
Mhm.
And so many people were like, because like the far left party didn't do that well,
Right.
and that's like, and there's like anything slightly right of that is evil, and so it's just like it's just one of those things where I'm like I have no clue.
Ah, okay. So it's
And
like
like
so
when I like
many.
reading about this, like when I was like learning about it, like when learning German, I was like, okay, here's the parties. It should probably be one of these two that are like in the middle that should
Yeah.
win. And I'm like, okay, the one on the left won. So everyone's probably happy. And then you meet people who are like, well, no, the far right just won everything. And we're like, wait, what am I?
So what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is like another thing in which is like I don't understand yet. So maybe my brain. I'm just still trying to understand how to use Genau correctly in certain
Just
interactions.
whenever you feel like it.
Whenever sometimes or saying choose instead of chow, and being comfortable with making either decision. So I'm like at a low level of like understanding Germany. So
Choose when you're being silly.
okay, yeah, because everyone's like choose, they like chow. I'm like, whoa,
It's
what's that
fine.
saying?
It doesn't
Like
matter.
chow, choose chow. I'm like, did I what? You
Starts
know,
when he starts saying choosy.
nah, I don't think.
Choosy.
No, I can't do that. That is. I have not. I got to be a citizen here first before I even think about.
No one will judge you. It's fine.
I would judge myself. That's the
I know.
problem.
You got to get over that.
I look myself in the mirror. I'm like, who are you? You're not even American anymore. What is a choosy?
What's funny is you will meet like guys who are big
Yeah.
and like like I don't want to get into an argument with you because you
Right.
will beat me up
All right.
and they will say choosy.
Choosy. You be like, bye. See you later. Until next time, pal.
I generally just stick with chow.
So,
I generally don't do the choose because
yeah.
there's the risk of doing choosy unless I'm trying to be silly, in which case that's when I'll do choose and I will throw in a choosy occasionally.
Ah, okay. Choosy. I feel like you gotta have good clothes on. You know.
No, it's just whenever I'm trying to take it as little seriously as humanly possible.
Yeah. If
And I'm
somebody,
just trying to be like, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable now by saying choosy.
but yeah, I mean, but you could do that because you have a comedy club here. So it's choosy sounds like very, prestigious. I don't know. Choosy, like somebody's like, oh, can you help me out? All right. Choosy. You be
No,
like,
you have to say it in a light voice. You can't
yeah.
say it like tough because it's not a tough word.
Oh, I should have gone. Blah, blah, blah. Choosy.
Exactly. You got it.
Oh
Well, you've
wow.
learned one thing.
I learned something. Yeah, I know hello, ich bin or ich heiße, mir geht's, instead of saying ich bin gut.
You can also say hi if just the hello is too much because they say
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah, but I gotta say the hi in a certain tone. I can't be like hello, if I say that, that's like whoa. I gotta say hello,
Yeah.
You gotta sing it. Hello,
Uh,
wie geht's dir?
it's weird. Have you traveled a lot around Germany?
Munich,
Okay.
Hamburg, um, Kaiserslautern, but I went to the base, so that really doesn't even count really. And no, not Mannheim, Baumholder, but basically all the American Air Force bases
Okay.
more to the west. So not really, basically.
The reason I ask is because I went to Munich. I've only been to Munich twice, but like the only time I've been since I've moved to Germany.
Hmm.
I was visiting a friend who was working for who was he working for? Um, it was a I don't know. I don't think it might have been BMW. I'm not sure.
Oh, nice,
Um,
fancy.
he was doing an internship there,
Oh,
and
okay.
I think it was BMW. It was either BMW or Mercedes, I believe, because it wasn't Audi because that's in Stuttgart. No, Mercedes in Stuttgart. I don't know who he was working for,
Hmm.
but I remember we walked into a store and he doesn't speak German. Like he just doesn't speak German,
Wow.
and I, went there. I was like, "Oh, guten Tag." I was like, "Shit again, whatever." And then they spoke back to me in English, and he just goes, "Hi, service," because you're supposed to say servus,
Yeah.
and I completely forgot that. And then like spoke to him in German. And he's like,
Oh,
I was
wow.
like the opposite.
That's so
Like I'm trying to
interesting.
do this whole interaction in German,
Yeah, they're
and they're
like,
like, "No, you do not speak enough German." And he just says like a German word as badly as I've ever heard it in my entire life. And then they speak to him in
right.
German, and then he's like, can I get like,
Yeah, it's like, who's, I don't know. That's wow. That's so interesting. And to be in Germany and not speak German is a possibility for anyone who doesn't know. You can come here to Germany and be fine. Well,
Berlin?
Berlin. Yeah, you go to other places, you might actually get, uh, you might be affected negatively.
Do you mind? I'm pretty sure this is the drink order that I told you about.
Yeah, it's calling.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
calling.
yeah, yeah. Do you think? Do you
Give
think?
me 1 second.
No, no, no. It's cool.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, perfect. This time.
All right. Don't know what happened there, but we can keep on going. If anything, we got the audio from the phone. Anyways, yeah, that logistics. Anyways, so you've been here for a minute, for about 5 years.
No, 8 years now. The
8
comedy
years.
club's been here 5
Yeah, 5 years.
because I
Sorry.
did a study and then internship and then job and then comedy club.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So out of the differences, right, of American, European, like what was the first couple things that came out to you, like since living here in Germany that has been different?
Have not driven a car,
Mm.
just period. Like I mean, I used to drive. I'm gonna go with the miles again. 100 miles to work and 100 miles from work every single day
What?
when I was in West Texas.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that was, and now I don't. And I never realized how much less stress exists when you're not worrying about traffic
Mm-hmm.
because you don't think that it's like a thing.
Yeah.
Like when you're driving, you're just like, okay, I'm driving. It's not work.
Right.
But you're just like looking at people like, are you going to cut me off? And then you have to find a parking spot. So you never know exactly when you get there.
Wow.
But then like taking a train, it's now, okay, the train says I'm going to be here at this time. If it's on time,
Mm-hmm.
then I will be there at that exact minute.
Right.
I won't be there. Like I won't need to be there 5 minutes early to find a parking spot, then walk there.
So simple. Yeah. So
But it's
simple and
small things like
important.
that.
Wow. And in Texas, that's a driving as like state. Like you
Yeah.
got to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
Can't even go across the highway. You got to drive, take a U-turn, like a jug handle, and then just to go on the other side.
Oh, I started walking to so there's a grocery store that was about a 10-minute walk.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an Outback Steakhouse because they have all chain restaurants. There's nothing like local.
Of course not.
And that was about a 5-minute walk. And what was hilarious is occasionally I would walk to the grocery store
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be the only one because it's like a 2-minute, 3-minute drive.
Right.
But then you got to go find a place to park. You got to deal with traffic. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's tons of traffic in Midland.
Right.
Or I can just do the 10-minute walk, get outside, That's
Move.
so I did that. And like my brother was there as well and his wife and then some coworkers as well. And they was like, why would you ever walk?
So crazy.
But the reason I bring the Outback Steakhouse is because to get an order for Outback Steakhouse, you have to tell them the make and model of your car so they can bring it out to your car. And I would walk there and I would have to show them like my confirmation. I was like, I ordered this, I already paid for it. I live like 5 minutes away. Like I walked here. And
He's probably looking at you like, "Are you homeless?" Like,
I promise you I'm not homeless. I'm wearing a really nice Hawaiian shirt right now.
oh shit, that's crazy! Wow, yeah, the whole driving versus walking culture in America is like crazy. Because I mean, in most places, in most countries in Europe or so like that, it still feels like it's mostly walkable.
Yeah.
A lot of places.
Berlin is the least walkable city I would say that I've been to in Europe.
Really,
Maybe London as well. But like
Well,
Paris is more walkable and it's huge as well.
Paris is walkable. Yeah.
Everywhere in Germany I've been has been walkable basically.
Wow.
And here I mean, I still don't like I've thought about getting my driver's license kind of moved over to Germany as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't done it. And every single time I just don't.
Because it's like you can just go without it.
Yeah. It's just like there's a few occasions, like maybe a couple times a year where I'm like, well, doing the 5-minute drive would be easier than the 15-minute train right now.
True.
But do I really care?
You're like, read a book or something.
I
Go
can
on.
get an Uber as well. It's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like, when something here breaks and I need to get like a new fridge or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be easy just to rent the van and then do that.
You're right.
That's about the only time.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like walking everywhere is like better. They got the bikes even, the bike lanes ain't the best in most, obviously you got Netherlands, you got other places that are pretty good, but um, here is definitely a lot walkable.
Do you ride a bike?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to ride my bike in the mean streets of New York City and yeah, getting hit I haven't got hit luckily, but getting hit has happened to a lot of friends.
How was that? How was that
What, riding?
in New York City?
It's crazy. It's
Okay.
like now thinking back and like riding my bike here, like not my bike, but like renting a bike here, it's like crazy. Like because the bike lanes are always incomplete, or people just take space, or you have people now on those bikes that are like electric bikes or whatever
Yeah.
that goes very fast, and like so they're cutthroat and taking space. Sometimes people just like sometimes cars just veer right into the bike lane, so you got to like be actually active. Like there's many people I know that got hit multiple times in New York City. Like yeah, there's people I know that even died like riding a bike. Yeah, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy, and I still need to wear a helmet. But
No
yeah,
one does over here. I rode a
yeah.
bike in Leipzig for about 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, and when I moved to Berlin, I thought that Berlin was too crazy. So I stopped riding a bike.
It.
And you're saying that, Berlin's fine and New York is crazy. So I cannot imagine for a second ever thinking about riding a bike in New York.
Oh my god, New York is crazy. Got potholes sometimes right in the middle of the bike lane, so you gotta like watch out. There's other people constantly trying to go fast, and it's like, cars that try. It's like now looking back, I was like, oh, there's been some times where I almost got like maybe my legs clipped because like a garbage truck is like backing up and like the iron bar is about to hit my knee. But I just got right in.
The thing, the trains on the not like the S-Bahn or anything like that,
Yeah,
but the trams
the trams. Yeah,
on the street. So Leipzig has those. They don't because it's not a big enough city for the. I mean, there's like a couple S-Bahn stations basically,
right.
but it's basically all the trams.
Oh shit.
Um, the first time I rode a bike to class, I had to do an uphill start, which I had not done in like since I was like 15 years old.
Whoa.
And I almost got hit by one of those. It had to stop and it rang the bell and got mad at me. And I was like, oh, yeah, those big things that you see from a mile away. I almost got hit by one of those.
Yeah. Oh shit. So yeah, okay. So it can get dangerous out there too.
It's dangerous if you haven't ridden a bike in 15 years.
I mean, true. Yeah. When you start riding after a while, you start getting used to it. You're
So
like,
I started getting better at it. And then when I moved to Berlin, I was like, I'm not. I'm not taking that risk.
it's like I'm good. I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna have a club here, just go walking to and from, and then that's it.
Yeah, it would be quicker if I think it would actually be quicker if I rode a bike here and back by like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
But on the train, I can read the news. I can text people.
There you
I
go.
can do stuff like
You
that.
can do your business.
That sounds people do their business on the trains. That's a bad thing.
Oh. Yeah, yeah. Some people have LLCs. Some people have other personal business they attend to publicly.
Yes. There was I read an internet post. I think this was 2 days ago, and the question was, "Hey, people in Berlin. So what's the procedure when someone gets on the train and starts smoking crack?"
What's the procedure? Somebody asked the procedure.
He was like, "What do you do?" Because he was like, it was me and like three other people, and we were all just kind of shocked at someone just like smoking crack out of a pipe, which I've never even seen crack. I have no idea what crack looks like,
Oh
and
wow.
so, but it was just that, and I was just,
That's
I was like, well, I know what I would do. I would shut up and I would try to move to the other side of the train and not deal. It's not my problem.
that is so. What do I do? You don't do nothing. That's the thing. You
do,
don't do
do
nothing.
like police aren't going to come? It's like no, they're not.
Nah, what? It's crack. What are you talking about? Nah. That's what do you do when you see crack? That's hilarious. As a person who lived in a neighborhood that had crack, that is funny. Yeah, you look away and you just go about your business and don't stare.
Yeah.
You know?
Generally, yeah, that just whatever happens with like things that you disapprove of on the train is you just look the other way
Yeah.
and say, I am on this train for 2 more minutes.
There you go. And
It
hold your
will be
breath.
fine.
Yeah, you hold your breath at certain intervals so you don't inhale all the smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. Open the window. You can do that. It's
Right.
fine.
Opening the window. That is yeah, there's like choices here.
Life pro tip right there for you.
I know, need to. Yeah, because sometimes it's just stuffy. I'm just like, why is it? Where's the air conditioning? I complain more.
No, there's no air conditioning here. That's actually another thing that's yeah. Well, to be fair, we have 2 air conditionings in this room. One of them is broken and one of them is very loud.
Oh, okay.
And the broken one, I tried to give it back, and they said, "No, we're just not gonna charge you for it."
Oh, well, okay. At least they didn't charge you, but they just say, "Hey, keep it."
Yeah. It was one of those things where, yeah, it just stopped blowing cold air,
Wow.
and, like, I tried to get it like, I was like, "Okay, I'll send it back and get a refund." And then they were like, "Oh, no, it's too much. Just keep it."
Oh shit. So you just have okay.
It
I
was
mean,
Amazon. I mean, it wasn't like
oh, it's Amazon. Okay, I thought
so
it's like a
Amazon was like, "No, you buy stuff from us. It's fine."
yeah. It's like it's just like it's cool. Just use it as a stand. You know.
Well, yeah, it's holding a iPad case
Oh yeah. There you
from,
go.
how many years old is that iPad? That's a 5-year-old iPad case. So,
Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully the iPad is still working.
uh, I mean, it was yesterday.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's the one you use for the thing.
We have 2 of them that we need, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So it is still is in working condition.
And no one we got robbed one time.
You got
Uh,
robbed here?
yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun. And then we had to get, like, a extra security on all the doors and shit like that afterwards. And, they didn't take the iPads.
Wow. What did it take? If you don't mind me
Just
asking.
money.
Oh, okay.
We don't
Damn.
keep a lot of money here, so it wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
But the thing I think is funny is those iPads are so old, and they're, like, the cheapest ones you can get, that if they like, if we sold them, it would be, like, $50 a piece.
Yeah. So it's not even worth it.
Like, it's not one of those ones that
Yeah.
you wanna steal.
Right. An iPad is not really a thing of theft, really. Like an iPhone, maybe, but like an iPad is like, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't even like, 'cause I 'cause you can track them, and, like, I guess to steal an iPhone, you would be to sell, and then you have
Yeah.
to turn it off before, like, it gets tracked or something, right?
For
I don't know how that
parts.
works.
Yeah, you
Okay.
gotta it's for parts or whatever. 'Cause they do it in London to where they like snatch phones, but then they send it out to China, and then China has like this place where they like just disassemble it and then remake the whole entire phone. So they just disassemble it for parts. And, you know, you sell a decent amount of those phones, you can actually get like some good money.
Well, that's kinda ironic that because China, that's where those phones are made.
Right. But so then they kind of just, it's like a cycle. Yeah. It's like, all right, we sell it to
We
you.
sell it to you, then we steal it from you, we send it back to where it was originally made,
Yeah.
and then we sell it to you again.
There you go. That's how they do it. Apple is very smart. No, shout out to Apple. You guys are doing good. Please invest in this podcast. Uh,
We need sponsorship money.
yeah, we do need sponsorship money. Yeah.
Apple, when you wanna say a fruit and mean a technology device.
Right. Yeah. He made the joke. I didn't. Please still support me. But all right. Two more things I want to ask you. Right.
Okay.
So one is that it would be crazy for me to do this without asking you about gun culture and you being in Texas.
I'm the only person in my family that does not own multiple guns.
Okay.
My brother sells guns for fun.
Wow. Look at him.
I have grown up shooting guns pretty much my entire life. I've been hunting. I've killed my own dinner and prepared my own dinner.
Wow.
Um, I actually do think this might be one of the more controversial things I say. I'm not a vegetarian. Are you
Mhm.
vegetarian?
No. Wouldn't.
I do think that if you are going to be a non-vegetarian, you should understand that you're eating meat. You're eating an animal.
I agree.
Um, so I do think that, yeah. So that's one of those things. I think if I was squeamish about hunting,
Mhm.
then I should give up meat.
Mm. I agree. I
I
agree with
don't
that.
enjoy it, but that doesn't mean like it's like, oh no, this is just a reality of life.
And you appreciate it more. I mean, because I mean, it's like it's life, right?
Yeah.
And then you see what's happening, and you now like yeah. No, I agree with that.
And yeah, but I mean, I've been away from guns for long enough now. Yet again, like shooting guns, I always enjoyed doing it, especially when I was in West Texas.
Hmm.
I think this was 3 years ago. I was in Fort Worth with my family, and they were bringing out a bunch of guns
Right.
just to look at, and I was uncomfortable then for the first time around guns in my entire life
Wow.
because we weren't shooting them. We were in just a house in Texas.
Oh, so it's out in yeah.
And I mean, there's bullets there. Like nothing good can come from it. All you're
Yeah.
doing is looking at a gun with a bullet maybe close by. And I'm like, I'm drinking and I've been drinking for a couple hours.
Right.
Like
Oh.
all that's going to happen is we're going to look at this thing, which I don't really care to look at. And if everything goes great, nothing happens. Anything below that
Yeah.
is bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, gun culture. I remember I went to one of my friend's house in Atlanta. I remember I walked in and he just had like a pistol on the counter, just like, "Oh yeah, man, you can come in. You want any water?" I'm like, "Bro, you have you have a pistol next to the faucet." Like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
It was just laying there, kind of like, "Oh yeah, man, I forgot to clean up." It's like, bro, you forgot to put safety first. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's I mean, that's one of those things when you're around stuff more and more often, you just get comfortable with it.
Hmm.
And that's one of those things where yet again, it just it's one you know, when you're in that environment, you don't think about it. And then when you leave that environment and you go back to it, you're like, you know, yeah, it's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, there's a gun on the counter.
Yeah.
Like, that's normal if you just deal with guns every single day.
Right.
And for me, and I haven't seen a gun outside of Texas, and like I've seen guns once in the last 8 years.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, oh yeah, I happy without them. Don't
Yeah.
need them.
Right.
Um, like what's the point?
Right. It's a culture in itself.
But I doubt that people will ever want to get rid of their guns in America, especially Texas.
I think it needs to be like a whole like sweeping thing, because the one thing I will say, and it is sometimes I laugh at myself, is that if I go to Georgia, I basically feel, I won't say naked, but I feel like just vulnerable because I'm the only one who doesn't have a gun and everyone does. So then it's almost like this weird thing where you're kind of like, all right, let me make sure I don't look at nobody in the eye. And again, I wouldn't do anything if I had one. It's just more of the fact that mostly everyone around you has it, except for you. So you're kind of like, oh, all right, I'm in this bar and I know everyone in here probably has something on them. This is weird.
I've felt that way going to the US the last couple times, but it's also mainly because there's such a divide politics wise
Mm.
that there's so much animosity there
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, okay, I don't want to cause any problems. But then once I've gotten in that environment, it's gone away.
Ah.
So it's like right over here. It's like, oh, I'm going to the US. There's a ton of guns. You see the news, things like that. Then once you're in the situation, you're like, at least for me, I was like, oh,
Yeah, you get used to it quickly, yeah. Or sometimes you just see like how lax people are. Where I was doing a comedy show in Georgia, and then as I'm going in, I have my book bag. I'm thinking like, all right, they want to check in my book bag because I'm about to go into this place. And when I was opening my book bag, it's like, no, no, you can go in. I'm like, all right, if they didn't check my bag, that means they didn't check nobody here. That means everyone here is strapped. This is unnerving. And I'm doing a comedy show. What if I offend somebody? What
yeah.
the hell? And I did, and somebody actually came on stage. Some old drunken white dude's like, "Hey, what are you doing here with the comedy?" I'm like, I can't handle this dude the way I would do so in regular comedy. This dude probably has a gun. So I'm like, hey, sir, hello. Yeah, we're doing a comedy show here. Do you know what comedy is? Oh, I don't know. What's your favorite drink? Jack Daniels? Hey, bartender, can you give him a Jack Daniels? Go over
Four,
there.
please. Four.
4. Yeah, it's on me. Yeah, because I have nothing on me, literally. I only have money for you to get the Jack Daniels. Get it? He just so drunk dude. Hey, what are you guys doing here? It's like, bro, we good, man. Like, I ain't got I got an empty book bag. All right. I come in peace.
Yeah, because I'm gonna try to do comedy in Texas the first time ever. Oh,
Well,
this trip, and so I'm literally coming up with jokes that are not offensive that like I could say in front of my family, which like without any problems,
yeah.
that are funny enough to where they won't think that people in Berlin don't know how to do comedy. Like that's it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, is this funny enough? It's like
Yeah.
not is this my best joke?
Right.
Is this funny enough?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna
Funny
talk
enough
about
for you not to get shot. That's probably the most important. Yeah. Just make sure you got that squared away first.
I'm talking about my hair plugs, I'm talking about training for a
There
marathon,
you
and
go.
I'm talking about how scared I was in Hamburg doing the marathon where there was 10,000 mainly white people marching towards the start line. And I was like, this is Germany and there's 10,000 white people marching right now. This is scary.
With no smiling, no nothing. They probably have music in the background, like some ooh, all right, whoa, marching and music. Ah,
This is not the environment I
so,
want to be in, people.
yeah, I don't even care if you're playing reggaeton music as you guys are marching. It's still music.
Everyone's cheering everyone on. I'm like, dude, no, you cannot cheer 10,000 marching Germans.
Germany. Wow, still got the past following them. You're just marching and we can't applaud. We just gotta look past and be like, well, I'm gonna be in complete silence. Don't want to get you riled up.
But see, making fun of countries that are not America in America is pretty universally liked.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so good.
I don't think I'll get shot for that one.
You'll be fine. Yeah, you be good. Yeah, you be you be all right. I think you'll be fine. You just play through them stereotypes in,
That's it.
If you find yourself on the ropes, just bring those stereotypes out, put you right back in the middle of the ring.
Yes.
Okay, so one last question I have to ask you, right? I usually ask people this in the podcast that you've been through many different cultures. Starting from Texas, then you was in Georgia, then in Germany, then now in Berlin as a business owner of a comedy club, the Wall Comedy. So many different things you've been through in your life. And what would be a number one advice you give to your younger self? Um,
I would actually, my life has changed yet again. The person I was before I started doing comedy, before I ran the comedy club in general,
mhm.
it's pretty night and day.
Mm.
Um, I would say start doing comedy earlier. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Get used to being on a stage in an uncomfortable situation where you have nothing other than just yourself to entertain people. Being put into that situation has made so many other things so much more comfortable. Like there's a character I do, which you might know of, named Foster Yow, where I pretend to be Italian. I don't
Yes.
know anything about Italy, just at all.
Right.
I don't really do an accent. I say things like I'm from Roma, Italia, and that's
Yeah.
as close as I get. And the first few times I did that, I had like nothing written. It was all improv.
Mhm.
It was just whatever. And since being in that situation, I can go into 90% of any other situations, just period. Just pick. I mean, there's problems I have to deal with maybe every month or two
Mhm.
where it's just like one of the doors broke one night
Wow.
and I never fixed a door before.
Yeah.
So it's just a new situation that like I have never dealt with before. I
Mhm.
don't know if can figure it out or not, but that's just a new thing to do.
Mhm.
But like going on stage and just getting used to doing comedy has made me so much more comfortable just doing things that I've never done before.
Wow.
So
That's
that's the only I do wake up sometimes thinking, man, I wish I started doing this earlier because I just want to see where my life would be.
that is so interesting. I never really thought about that. And yeah, comedy really, allows you to be comfortable with the unknown
Yeah,
and really solve things as it comes to you.
yeah.
So
Because I mean, there's crowd work you have to deal with. There's hecklers you have to deal with. Like yet again, like the drunk white person who's like, "Oh, does this person have a gun?" And then you have to deal with that. And it's just
yeah,
like in that moment, and you're in front of like a group of other people,
right.
and you're still trying to make it entertaining. So
That
even if
is
you
true.
don't do well, like even if you bomb, it's fine because you realize, oh, so this is what happens. So the fear of like a lot of interactions just goes down because you've been through something
Mm,
worse already.
this is true. That's a good advice right there to start comedy early. Cause yeah, it definitely buffers you from all the other weird stuff that happens in regular life. Cause the things that happen in comedy are not regular. They're irregular at at best.
No, even if you don't like do it regularly, even if you just do it like a few times just to see what it's like. It's like, getting over your fear of public speaking by speaking in public, like giving
Hmm.
speeches. It's similar to that because I mean, I haven't done comedy in like 3 weeks.
Hmm.
I was supposed to do one on Tuesday, but the show got canceled.
All right.
But
Oh, did
the real show.
oh, right. Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, but no, that's a good point you make there about doing comedy early, and that how that really impacts you in life. And also, one thing I would like to say too is that I want to say thank you very much because you actually were one of the few people, or many people actually, who helped me actually move here to Berlin. You wrote me a letter of intent, not intent of a recommendation or intent.
I believe it was intent.
Intent, yes. So that really helped out a lot at the wall, symbol there and everything. And the
And we talked minutes before we started about you hosting the show in 2 weeks from today.
yes,
So that is on the 20th of December at the
20th.
Wall Comedy Club.
Yes, it is. This is true. So yes, I mean, if you guys want to come check me out, I'm gonna be hosting here. Also I perform here as well. And hopefully things continue forward with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but and the only thing, the last pat on the back I'll give myself is that it was in German, I believe, is the
Yes, you
letter
did.
that I.
Yes, and it really worked out. So yes, I mean, look at how things all work out. You went to follow your dreams to make Mexico. I mean, my extremely intelligent company here in Germany, and that helped me come here and be a very intelligent podcaster slash stand up comedian.
That's one of those things that every single time I say it, I'm like, I really hope that I say it in the right way
Yeah.
because that can be taken so negatively.
I ain't gonna lie. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, I'm my American ass. I was like, all right, I see you. I see you. Yeah, you flexing. All right, cool. My extremely intelligent.
You thought it was just me being like egotistical. And
Yes.
just,
And I was like, all right, big flex. I get it. I come from that culture, flexing. I was like, yeah, all right. Foster trying to be timid over here. He's like, nah, it's extremely intelligent. Know who you talking to. I'm like, all right.
no, the
You know,
opposite.
I'm like, he's like, no, I just like Mexican. I like Mexican food.
I do. I actually made Mexican food yesterday for lunch. It was quite good.
On brand. There you go. The wall, the border, the Texas burritos. Everything all works out for a reason.
Yeah, no, I had a traditional traditional Mexican food lunch, and then for dinner I had a traditional German dinner of a doner. So Turkish.
Dooner. Actually, I might have to get some Dooner right after this. Either Dooner or maybe the place next door, the Lebanese place.
There's next door. There's a few shawarma that are pretty good around here.
Yeah, I really like this one next door, but apparently there's some better ones or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They were good for a while, and then during COVID, but I think they're under new management. And I've heard good things.
Yeah, now it's good. Now they
Yeah.
put like a lot. It's good. It's like, yeah, so I might have to, damn, yeah. Every time I'm around here, I gotta go. But all right, man. Thank you very much for doing this, man. It's been dope. Glad I was able to talk to you.
It was
All right.
fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a good time. See, it was a good time. And guys, thank you for listening and or watching to the Third Culture Talk podcast. I'm your boy Nyan Yenifin. This is Foster Yow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.